Now, why would you want an awesome Micro FPV racing gate other than the fact that it's awesome? Well, reason number one is this cute little guy. This is a 1S TinyWhoop Firefly Nano baby. That's right, not just a nano, but a baby nano. Now, this is great for flying around indoors or annoying your favorite family members. Reason number two is the fact that there's about 2 feet of snow outside, and flying my big 5-inch FPV drone is a bit of a risk factor, considering if I crash, well, that just became a 3-hour manhunt of whether or not I'll ever find it again. So with that, I wanted something I could put in my apartment or house, fly through, start the time, fly back through, and then record the time. To record the time on this one, you just long press the button to the left of the display. To bring up the best time, just single click, brings up the best time. If you click it again, it'll go back to the time before. So I went ahead and got on the internet to see if anything like this was around, and I found something very similar by a guy named Jay Sterling. I'll drop a link to his blog in the description below. The main difference is I have an extra ultrasonic just to add a bit of reliability. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in on how to build this. Then you're going to go ahead and want an assortment of just little connector wires, or if you're soldering, each wire individually to the pins, that works too, but I'm going to be using just some classic wire connectors. You're going to want to make this little guy. This resistor in the middle is a 330 ohm resistor. This is for our LED strip. I'll go ahead and transfer over to a quick little video of how I made this. This is how I like to do it, but if you have your own way, by all means go ahead. You could also just solder this directly onto the LED and then connect into it, but this is how I did it so that I could use it again. And then you're going to want to go ahead and make just a little harness like this guy. One female plug going to one short female wire and a slightly longer female wire or female plug. You'll want some 3D printer of sort. You can see that this isn't the best print. I was having some extruder issues, but it'll do. This will work for now, but yeah, if you have a 3D printer, that works great. One thing I want to take note of is I soldered just this little extender wire off of this 12 volt pin in the back. This is right where the 12 volts comes in, or whatever voltage you're using, preferably something above 7 volts because we're running this to the VIN on the Arduino Nano. So I just went ahead and attached that right there. That's the only modification to that. Oh, and then also there'll be pins coming out right here, 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 and here. You can either choose to push them through to this side like I did right there. An LED strip. This is what I've got going. I've got a WS2812B LED strip, and I will provide a link to this as well. Pretty simple. You can choose to just solder directly into these wires. I'm personally just going to be putting some of my own pins in there. That way I can reuse this on other projects if I decide to, but each to their own. And finally, you're going to want some 5/8 inch outer diameter clear tubing. The inner diameter is a 1/2 inch, and this is just so we can slide our LED strip into it. We're going to need a hot glue gun, and then just your run-of-the-mill soldering iron. By run-of-the-mill, I literally mean run-of-the-mill because this is like the cheapest soldering iron ever, and it works just fine. And then just some basic, tools and whatnot for cutting wires and stripping wires. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to start with the 3D printed housing. The only thing I've done so far is attach the button. Be careful when you go to do that. As you can see right here, I got a little bubble, and that's just because this is super thin PLA, and I did not put much infill, and so I put some hot glue on there, and you can see where it heated up and just kind of bubbled out. But anyways, when you put it in, just make sure it clicks, and then you'll just have 2 wires running out of that, and you'll be good to go. Let's go ahead and run. Our green is going to go to our trigger pin, and our yellow is going to go to our echo pin. Then I highly recommend taking some hot glue and hot gluing these all on there. Our 3-way harness right here, you're going to want to go ahead and attach the longer of the 2, which in my case it's this purple wire. You're going to want to attach that to VCC, which is 5 volts. Let's get this going the right way. There we go. And then go ahead and attach it to the shorter red wire to VCC on the other ultrasonic. One of the longer wires that you have sitting aside, or connect to if you need to. But this is going to be our ground for the side that's further away, and then it seems backwards, but I'm using a white one for the ground on the other side, but it was just what I had right next to me. So now we have those all pinned out. I'm going to go ahead and throw some hot glue on here. We're good to go ahead and connect these into the Arduino. For the shorter one, we're going to call this ultrasonic 1, and we're going to go ahead and route this into 7 and 8. And then same story on our ultrasonic number 2. 5 volts. And the reason why I'm using the Arduino 5 volt rather than the power supply's 5 volt is just because it was having issues running off of that power supply. So I don't know what that was all about, but we're just going to run with it. And I'm going to plug this right in to the 5 volts. Okay, we're going to attach a blue wire to our CLK pin, just like so. And we're going to attach this brown wire to our DIO pin. I'm going to grab this white wire, throw it on our ground. Grab this orange wire and throw it on our power. Our CLK pin, which is our blue wire, that's going to go ahead and run right into D2 on our Arduino Nano. And then our DIO pin, we're going to go ahead and run that to our D3. Ta-da! Then while we're hooking stuff up to our Arduino Nano, I'm going to go ahead and hook up our power and ground. Alright, so we pretty much have everything hooked up to the Arduino Nano. And we'll go ahead and get our power supply hooked up here. Pop some hot glue onto this little connection on the back. Let's go ahead and start by hooking in our Arduino Nano power. So purple's going to VIN. We're going to hook that into our 12 volts that's coming out the bottom there. We're going to run our gray one over to the ground. Just pop that into the first slot. Perfect. And then we can grab our ground off of our ultrasonic and also throw that right onto one of these ground pins. Same story for the other ultrasonic. Just throw it on one of these ground pins right here. Okay, we can throw that. There we go. Now we're pretty much ready to go ahead and start putting some of these pieces in. just like that. Take this guy and just throw a nice little bead of hot glue along the edge. Or whatever you have, whatever you're using as glue. Alright, now at this point, you might realize that you have a rat's nest of wires like mine. I would do whatever you can to get this power supply to this side of the housing and the nano to this side and make it as neat as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, now at this point, I like to go ahead and run through and just throw some hot glue on everything. That way it doesn't pop out while we do the next couple steps. We can go ahead and set this on its side. Actually, we can put that out of the way for now. We're gonna grab this and we're gonna grab our handy dandy LED strip. And what you're gonna wanna do is just go ahead and feed this through till it's out the other side. I'm gonna take our housing and we're gonna go ahead and feed this through. The one with the clip, or both of yours will have a clip. I cut the clip off one of my sides on accident. Okay, not on accident. It was very much on purpose. Gonna go ahead and grab our 330 ohm resistor plug, and that's gonna go to this green wire, which lines up like that. And then I'm gonna throw this red on our power and the brown on ground. All right, then we can go ahead and connect this resistor wire right into D13. It's gonna be right there. And then this power and ground wire, you can go ahead and hook in. I like to hook mine in right there. That's a 5 volt. And I'll hook the ground into this ground pin. The last thing you're gonna wanna do is these two button wires. You're gonna wanna throw one onto A1 right there, and then the other one you're going to want to put into the remaining ground pin. Alright, now before we go any further, this would be a great time, if you haven't done it already, to go ahead and load your Arduino code just to make sure everything works before you commit to gluing these down. But I already have mine on there for me. But I just like to hold mine just like this. There's a little slot for the plug to go into in case you want to update any code changes or alter anything. And then you're just going to hold it just like that. And now we're going to go ahead and glue our power supply down. This one, same story. Just want to make sure that the little plug right here lines up with this hole. So once you have that all eyeballed and good to go, you can go ahead and hot glue it down as well. All right, now you'll go ahead and channel these wires in the other hole. You can do this before you put in the Arduino Nano. It doesn't really matter too much. Just whatever you want to do. Just like that. And then pull it through and go ahead and lock this. You can put some glue in here if you want to hold it. I personally, there's enough friction that it stays in itself. Just like that. And then you're going to want to pull some of these LED strips through. Like that. Pop it in. All right, once you got it where you want, go ahead and flip it up and we'll give it a little test drive. So I'm gonna give it some power. I'm gonna simulate a drone flying through. There goes the timer, it started, and then we're gonna pretend that the drone just flew back through. And it stopped. Let's see if it'll load the previously saved best time. There's the previously saved best time. There's 4:41, which is our current. We're going to save this as the new best time, or time to beat. All right, we'll just do a little quick race there, and we'll see if it loaded our previous time. Cool. All right, everything works great. I hope you guys were able to make something awesome, and yeah, enjoy that indoor micro FPV drone racing, or whatever you use this for.